Hey guys, Tony Denaro here. Welcome back to the channel. 5,500%. That is the gain we have been watching on ticker symbol HKD since its IPO about 2 weeks ago on July 15th at around $12 to $13, running up at the end of the day today to $974. Unbelievable. We're going to talk about HKD. We're going to talk about the extremely beautiful performance of the other tickers that I called out over the weekend. And I'm going to give you an early heads up about a new IPO, another low float IPO that is not really on anybody's radar screen just yet. The IPO day is going to be Friday, August 5th. You might want to hear about this one. Can it repeat the performance of HKD? Gosh, I don't know, but we sure hope so. We will find out on Friday and into the next 2 weeks going forward. There are never guarantees on IPOs, and gosh, I've had some of the worst luck on IPOs. But this IPO Attack Club has been doing a pretty good job of singling out these plays and everybody going in to buy them. And the results speak for themselves, so you be the judge. I'm just going to present the information. This is not financial advice. I'm not making any specific recommendation to buy or sell these stocks. I'm just presenting you the opportunities. It's up to you to do your own due diligence and make your own decisions. That out of the way, let's get right into the information. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. I have been investing for over 30 years. I've got a broad portfolio of stocks, options, and crypto. And on this channel, I like to teach you guys how to have a risk-balanced portfolio of value stocks. And if you want to trade like I do, a certain percentage of your portfolio on risky momentum, swing trade, short squeeze, day trade type plays, well, we talk about those here as well because that is what I do. Day trading and swing trading is not for everybody. It's not for new investors. If you are not experienced, these plays might not be for you. I don't know your financial situation. I don't know your risk tolerance or your emotional control in these highly volatile plays. So please do not take this video as any specific advice to you. But if you want to learn more about them, we're going to talk about them, and stick around, hit that sub button, and maybe you can pick up a few tips along this journey. On the videos where I cover momentum plays, they are a little different flavor than my normal videos. We're not going to be sitting here talking about due diligence or my investigations into these companies. Momentum plays are a play on one thing only: momentum. Sometimes we get a little heads up about which plays are likely to have momentum next. On these risky plays, I might be in and out of them in 5 minutes and then re-enter on a dip later in the day. Or I might be trading them in pre-market and out before the market opens. If you're not able to do that stuff with your current setup and your current broker, again, stick around. We can talk about that on a future video so that you can get set up for this type of trading. I don't think many of us were expecting this run up again today on HKD, but for people that were still in the play, wow, what a payoff. Back on Friday, this thing opened up at $176. It closed the day on Friday at $377. Now, there was a good opportunity to trade this one in the morning and be done with it for the day. You still would have done just fine. Starting with that $377 price, it ran all the way up in pre-market in the early hours before the market opened to $491. It did spend another hour or so after that selling off. These are very volatile plays. It went all the way down on this bottom wick to $289 or so in the first hour of trading this morning. It kind of languished throughout the day. And then in the last 2 hours of the day, even on declining volume, which you can see at the bottom of the chart there, and I don't have a good explanation why this happened, maybe some shorts covering. There's not even that much short interest in this stock. There's nothing even really interesting about this stock other than it has a low float and all the retail investors decided to pile into it at the same time. But it took off in the last 2 hours of the day, running from $473 all the way up to $974 in the final 2 hours of the day. What happens next? Probably a sell-off. Will I go back into this play? Probably not, but I always reserve the right to observe the momentum, the volume, and the price and make a decision in the moment. This type of run-up is just simply not normal on no news and no real report of short interest. The most likely thing that's going to happen is that this is going to come crashing back down. Okay, before we talk about that low float IPO coming up on Friday, let's do a quick recap of these other three tickers that we talked about over the weekend. I have one bonus one for you, and I just want to go over these with you so you can see what happened in pre-market and during the day. This is all good learning experience if you were sitting on the sideline or if you weren't paying attention. You need to study these plays because that is education for what might happen in future momentum plays. Let's run through these really quick. The first one that I have for you is ticker symbol GETY. The company's name is GETY. We're not going to do a whole lot of due diligence other than to say that this one just completed the SPAC merger process. You know, in a SPAC, they trade at $10, and then sometimes after the business combination happens, people get excited about these stocks for some reason, and they take off. Why do they get excited? There is a thought in social media circles, which I happen to believe is incorrect, but that's irrelevant because, hey, momentum. The thought is that during the merger process, they see the redemption of the SPAC shares, and they think that the float of this stock dropped to 500,000 shares. That was not actually the case. It doesn't matter though, because people went with that bad due diligence and piled in this stock today. There wasn't a lot of action in pre-market on this stock, but once the market opened, it did get action continually throughout the day, running from $25 all the way up to $37 here, watching it now in the aftermarket on that top wick. That is a 52% gain in one day. The second one that we talk about this weekend to keep an eye out on in pre-market and the market today was Mobile Global Esports. Ticker symbol is MGAM. It's in the top right corner of my screen here. This was an IPO from last week coming out at $4, and it closed on Friday at $12. Now, the action in this stock was in pre-market up into the first hour of the trading day today. It ran from $12 here all the way up to $20.74 at the top of this wick. That is about an 85% gain if you were holding it from Friday at the end of the market or you got in when pre-market opened this morning. It's about a 350% gain if you bought in on the IPO at $4 last Friday. This is a low float IPO, one of the ones that we are targeting now, and you do need to have the ability, as you can see from the way this one traded during the day, down, you need to have the ability to be able to trade in pre-market because not all of these plays are going to hold up once the market opens. Remember, when I talked about these this weekend, there is no specific due diligence saying that you should buy this company. These are speculative plays that retail put their eye on early because it was a low float and decided to all go in and buy together and drive that price up. The third ticker that we talked about this weekend is MAIA. The name of the company is MAIA Biotechnology. This was another low float IPO from last week. This stock did get some upward momentum during pre-market, and that continued into the first couple hours of the day, as you can see right here in the chart. This stock closed at $5.44 on Friday. In the pre-market, it topped out at $9.81. Here in midday, I see this top wick is about $9.54. The top of the candle around $8.76. So you would be looking at a 50 to 80% gain depending on where you were able to sell this stock in pre-market or during the day today. A nice day for MAIA. The bonus play today, the one that nobody really saw coming, is Revlon, ticker symbol REV. Nobody's even really thought about this stock since mid-June. If you haven't been paying attention, Revlon has filed for bankruptcy, and this is a bit of a mess of a company, but people were piling in it in June because of the very high short interest, and we can see that it ran from $1 all the way up to $9.60 or so back in June, and then fell off as these things often do. Very briefly, let's talk about the news today that had it running up again to almost $10 in the last couple hours of the day. Now that I have the chart zoomed in, you can see that in the morning, this stock was trading flat at about $4.63. And then a press release dropped and the price ran up. What was that press release that made it run from $4 and change to almost $10, you say? Well, Revlon got an approval from a judge for a bankruptcy loan to continue their operations for a certain amount of time while they go through the bankruptcy process, that loan being $1.4 billion. The bankruptcy is not staved off. The bankruptcy is still happening. They got a loan to continue operations. So I'm going to be honest, I don't understand sometimes why people pile into a stock because of a press release. This is certainly not one that I would have piled into, but people do, and you can play that momentum when you see it happening. There are 3 or 4 or 5 volume candles that you can see increasing at the bottom of this chart, and the price was increasing as well. These are the things that we look for on momentum trades. Get in, get out. This is certainly not a stock that I would plan on holding overnight or for long term. Bankruptcy is probably going to happen for Revlon unless a buyer comes out of the woods unexpectedly. Could Revlon run up tomorrow some more? Could it top $10 and then just take off? Absolutely. Anything is possible with momentum plays. I don't have a crystal ball, as I often say, and I can't tell you for sure what is going to happen. I know for my trading style, I would not hold this type of stock overnight. You have to make that decision for yourself. If you're in this play, that is not something that I am able to help you decide. Okay, to wrap this video up, let's talk about this next low float IPO that is coming up, supposed to be for Friday, August 5th. The ticker symbol is MEGL. The name of the company is Magic Empire Global. This is going to be a stock that is listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange with ADRs available on Nasdaq here in the United States. This is a very similar setup to HKD, the one that ran from $12 to $1,000 in the last 2 weeks. Could this one run up just like HKD did? I don't know. My crystal ball is not that clear. I do know that all of the tickers that we talked about today were targeted specifically by the IPO Attack Club, and this one is as well. What I can tell you is that there's not that much information available about this stock, and I don't even really care to do a lot of due diligence about it, other than to tell you that you can go buy it on Webull in the IPO section. You can reserve your shares right now, and they have those targeted at $4 to $5. So you can pre-reserve some shares. I have done that for this ticker. I might consider buying some more on Friday or Monday next week, depending on what happens with MEGL. As I've said before, in my many years of trading, I've had some pretty awful bad luck buying IPOs, and I don't typically pre-reserve shares. I've bought a couple when the market opens, Coinbase being a famous one that flopped, but I made up for that buying puts on Coinbase on the way down as soon as I got out from under those shares. So if you have Webull, maybe this is one you want to look into, reserving some shares. I don't know what other brokers you might be able to reserve shares on. I can't even really recommend this to you guys. Again, this is a speculative, risky play. I only put a very small amount of money on these type of plays. And I would urge you on all of these sort of speculative plays, momentum plays, do not be swinging your entire portfolio on one play. Could you get some of them right from time to time? Absolutely. But it is also the most surefire way, if you don't know what you're doing and you're swinging all your money on one play, to blow out and lose your entire account if it goes the wrong direction. You know, other people on other channels might tell you to go all in on these type of plays. That is not how we do it here. We are focused on risk-balanced trading. Have a good, solid portfolio of well-known stocks. You know, your Microsofts, Teslas, Googles, you know the ones I'm talking about. And then take a percentage of your portfolio, and if you like playing momentum or gambling plays, let's be honest, you can allocate a small portion of your portfolio to those type of plays. And if you are successful in picking the right ones, you can really amp up your overall portfolio gains for the year. I want to see you here for the long term. I don't want to see you blow out your entire portfolio on one play or invest too much money in one of these very risky plays at the wrong time of the day, only to watch it trend down for the rest of the day. And that does happen with these plays very often. So you have to be careful no matter what anybody is telling you on YouTube. You got to have good timing. You got to have some experience doing these. If you are not experienced in doing these, I would recommend just watching, following along, and learning until you gain some experience through observation and you learn how to trade these plays. I am Tony Denaro. I want to thank you for watching. Join me on one of my live streams where I answer your questions. No super chats ever required on stocks that you care about, options, crypto, real estate, starting your own business. I've done it all. I'm happy to help you get to where you want to be in life. If this is your first time here, please buy and hold that subscribe button. If you got value out of today's video, please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.